Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, first story up today. Let's talk about Puffy. Another update on this case that's coming up on Cinco de Mayo, you guys. You know, he had all these lawsuits. Everybody was filing cases against him. Well, it seems that a judge has denied some charges that were brought against Puffy in that $30 million lawsuit that Lil Rod, what was his full name? I didn't put what mama named him, y'all. But remember, Lil Rod said back in February of last year, he said that Puffy made sexual advances towards him, forced him to get sex workers for parties or for different groups of people or whatever, and also forced him to participate in having sex with said sex workers. Remember, he is also the person that said that Justin and Puffy were at a studio and that they had went into the bathroom with someone and they came out, the person inside the bathroom had been shot. It was only Puffy and Justin and that other person in there, and we're assuming that the other person did not shoot themselves. So he is saying that either Puffy or Justin shot that man. Apparently when they came out, Puffy ordered everybody to get rid of video and change their stories when the police came and all that. So all that was in that lawsuit. And yes, one of the judges has decided to make some changes. The charges was going against Puffy, Justin, his chief of staff at Bad Boy, Kristen Coram, UMG CEO Lucian George, Motown Records, their former CEO, Ethiopia, Haber Mariam, and then there were some other Jane and John Does in that lawsuit. But yeah, so anyway, Judge J. Paul Oetken, O-E-T-K-E-N, child, all these people with these damn names. He's over it. He said that the attorney Tyrone Blackburn, who's the attorney for Lil Rod, the courtroom paperwork that he submitted was troubling at the very least. It was quite troubling. You know, we've already had a couple of judges say that the way that Tyrone Blackburn wrote up those documents, you would think that he never got a law degree and that he just basically took notes from the most salacious fictional urban novel and put all of these sensationalism on it. Ignored law in some cases, and just felt like he just put 20 on 10, doing way too much, and knew that that was going to be something that caught the audience's attention. You know, us, people that are not familiar with the way that documents are written up and things like that. The judges are all just like disgusted with Tyrone Blackburn. This is what we've dismissed so far. He's dismissed negligent and intentional infliction of emotional distress claims. He's dismissed breach of contract claims. He's dismissed the Trafficking Victims Protection Act claims against Puffy. Actually, it was against Combs Global. That was one of his businesses. But he did not dismiss the sexual assault and the liability claims. So that part that the judge has dismissed looks like that is going to probably release some of these other people from, unless they were involved in any any of the sexual claims. All of these other businesses, UMG and you know, Combs Global and all that, they'll probably be released from the lawsuit, and it'll probably just fall on Puffy, or like I said, if any of those people happen to be involved in the sexual claims as well. Okay. Like physically in the sexual claims. They also, did I tell you that he also did not drop the liability claims. So yeah, even though the judges are quite irritated with Tyrone Blackburn, Tyrone said that he is just taking it on the chin, and you know what? He's still gonna consider it a win. A win is a win. We still moving forward with this case. We about to move on to discovery, and he's excited about that. So everything is still moving forward. We just kind of slicing and dicing and getting rid of some things that I guess the judges feel like are not pertinent to this story. Okay. So Lil Rod hasn't been totally dismissed, but I guess some of the things that he said happened in that lawsuit is going to be, you know, it won't be happening. I'm also wondering if that does mean that that shooting that happened at the studio that they're trying to put on Puffy and Justin, I wonder if that is also meaning that that's going to be dropped as well. They weren't really specific in what exact claims were. They just said emotional distress claims, breach of contract claims, you know, that kind of thing, trafficking claims, but we still don't know the specifics. So yeah, again, we just gonna wait and see. What do you guys think about this Puffy case, though? Do you guys believe that he is going to be going to jail for a long time as time passes and they start kind of like ticking off all of these different charges and dropping things and dropping claims and all of that? It makes me wonder exactly where, you know, Puffy is going to land with this case, and whether or not he is going to be found guilty, or if we did all of this for nothing. Did they just put him in jail because, you know, they didn't want the man calling folks no more? But do they have a solid case? I mean, we know the feds usually come after you when they really have something that they can charge you with. However, you know, nothing is foolproof, and this is a big story, so we'll see. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, they about over old Blackburn. They about sick of him. I think he's representing he's representing Lil Rod, and I feel like he is on another case. Or did that case get dropped? Is he the lawyer for the person that's against that lawsuit that's against Aaron Hall and Puffy, and who was the other person? Who was that other person? I want to say Nelly, but I don't think that's who it was. But anyway, no, it wasn't Nelly. Let me not put that man in trouble, child. But yeah, so yeah, they about over Blackburn, but Blackburn said, honey, this is his time to shine. He gonna take advantage of his moment. Okay. All right, y'all. Yeah, we still keeping our eye on it, you know, and of course, when I know more, I'm gonna let y'all know more as well. So let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, Jasmine Crockett. Well, we love us some Jasmine Crockett. This is not really a political section. If you guys did not watch my Let's Talk About It video that I posted on Wednesday, then you guys can go back and check that out. Every now and then I will post some Let's Talk About It videos because sometimes there's just not really much entertainment gossip, but there's still a lot of shit going on in the world, and a lot of it is not nothing that we really need to laugh at. So I'll do Let's Talk About It for my more serious things, okay? But this hadn't happened when I recorded that video. So Jasmine Crockett, child, she didn't call that man Governor Hot Wheels. Talk about, look, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, we know that George Abbott, who is the he is the governor down there in Texas, back some 40 years ago, The man was out jogging and a tree fell on him and crushed his legs, paralyzed him. So he has been in a wheelchair ever since, okay? That wheelchair has not hindered him. He's had a very successful, some people will say, political career, okay? So that did not stop him. He definitely ain't got no empathy for people. You would think that somebody that also, you know, faces some difficulties and struggles would understand the plight of the average American these days. However, you know, cost of food, the cost of living, mortgages, you know, all these tariffs, all of this stuff, you know, you would think that somebody who, again, like I said, faces challenges, would have some pity, but absolutely not. George Abbott be bringing it to the people of Texas every day. I'm so glad I don't live in Texas. Okay, even though Georgia sometimes ain't no, Georgia ain't as bad as Texas. Anyway, so there was a campaign, in Los Angeles, there was a human rights campaign dinner the other day, and they were questioning, you know, talking to Jasmine Crockett. And, you know, we've seen Jasmine Crockett has been on the mic quite a bit lately, you know, because she is one of the more outspoken representatives on the Democratic Party, happens to be a very strong black woman as well. And so we see a lot of Jasmine, okay? I was getting concerned that we were seeing her too much, and I was feeling like they were waiting for her to put her foot in her mouth or something. So I feel like they, like, every time you turn around, they're coming to Jasmine to see if they can, like, catch her to say something. I honestly feel like they have been waiting for Jasmine to say something, because she just talks and she just says whatever. And I think she thinks sometimes that she's just talking to, like, your average, you know, Joe Blow, and forgetting that, you know, you are a representative, which means that, you know, there are still some ways of decorum and things. But of course, the way things are running right now, nobody goes by the rules of decorum and things any longer. I mean, it is just a fucking wild, wild west. People say crazy things about things. I mean, they've been talking about the Democrats and people of the Democratic Party and saying very offensive things for years and years and years. However, now that this black woman has said something, of course they're going to blow it up. So I was just like, Jasmine, girl, I know you comfortable and you just been so used to talking and doing all of this, but them people been trying to catch you, girl. They've been trying to catch you. And very much like how it happened with Angela Rye, because Angela Rye is another example that comes up in my mind. She was everywhere. She was on CNN. She was all everywhere, and you know, and they was getting a sound bite, a clip out of Angela Rye every chance that they could. And then people started to say that she was like this angry black woman. Okay, and she's always fussing. Every time you saw her on the camera, they would say that she was always fussing and always doing it. And now you still see Angela Rye. She is still very present out there, and but you don't see her like you used to. And I feel like that was because they were putting her everywhere. She was everywhere, and she was getting comfortable, and it was just starting to be. And the minute that they felt like she had then said some things that they didn't like no more, then you didn't really see Angela Rye as much anymore. And I feel like that's the same kind of treatment that is happening with Jasmine. Okay, like, she's got to remember where she is. Although, you know, we all out here and we all, you know, big up and big sis and telling her go ahead and speak out and do all that, you also got to remember that you not amongst friends, and there's a lot of people out there who don't want you to be in that position, and they gonna just keep on letting you be out there and say and do stuff until you put your foot in your mouth. I don't know if this is a situation where it's going to come back to bite, but I think that if these things keep on happening, people are going to start to be like, okay, Jasmine is considered a radical or something. She's not a radical. She is simply a woman who is angry with what is going on in our country right now and trying to make some differences. However, you know, you can see how these things happen. So anyway, she was, they were, interviewing her, and this is what she said. She said, y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there, and the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. Okay. Now, again, granted, she's at a dinner. This is not no official, she's not at the White House. She's not in the hallways of Congress. She's not doing anything in an official capacity or anything like that, yet and still, they've quoted her on this. It's all over everywhere. Governor Hot Wheels. Ashley, you ain't right for that damn, on Ashley's Stories, child. They got a picture of him in a souped up wheelchair and got Hot Wheels on the side. Listen, I'm not laughing about the man being paralyzed and in the wheelchair. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's awful that happened to him. Thank God the man didn't die and didn't get crushed to death or nothing like this. However, some of the memes and shit is funny. It is funny, you guys. And Governor Hot Wheels is actually a very funny thing, too. But, of course, some of the Republicans are not happy about that. So, one of them has made it a point that he is going to censure Jasmine Crockett. Now, they just did the censoring thing of the black gentleman, also from Texas, who was challenging YSAP about, I think he was just talking about, like, you're not doing anything to help the American people. Like, these people need to be able to afford to buy things, the inflation, these tariffs. Remember, he was the one. Okay. They just did the censure, I believe, on him as well. Now we're doing it to Jasmine Crockett. See, this is how they do it. Like, you get too comfortable, you get to saying shit, and then they do what they try to do to get you out of there. But it doesn't happen both ways. And we know the Republicans, Marjorie, MJG, what is her name? Marjorie Green. She says all kind of craziness all the time. And never is really called on it. Might be slightly reprimanded, if anything, in Congress. But yeah, so it's just like, we don't give a fuck. But again, I can see a slow trying of takedown of Jasmine Crockett, and I just don't want that to happen. She is much necessary, much needed. Okay. When she was confronted about that, of course she was like, I wasn't thinking about his condition. Okay. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants and communities led by black mayors. So you guys know that Abbott also had this program for 2022 to 2024 where they were actually shipping the migrants. Remember, they were putting them on buses and they were taking them to black cities, okay? Dropping them off there and letting the mayors deal with them there, okay? And so she said that's what she was thinking of. She absolutely was thinking of him being in that wheelchair. I think maybe subconsciously, she just was like, yeah, Governor Hot Wheels, not necessarily thinking that but not talking bad about his condition. But the fact that this man is always in a chair, he's got wheels, that's the first thing that came to her mind. She definitely meant that, but, so it's no way really out of it. But, yeah. Just like cracking up when I saw that though, but not Governor Hot Wheels, child. Anyway, I would just tell sis to watch her back and be careful, because they do it. I've seen it. We've seen it happen. They will let you hang your own self. And yes, it's not fair that other people do it and get away with it, but that's how our world has been. That's how life has been. For as long as I've been black anyway. So, all right, you guys, that's enough on that. Y'all let me know what you think about all of that. And we'll move on to the next story. All right, you guys, congratulations are in order. They say that Tanda Braxton has gotten married. Y'all know I ain't watched the Braxton Family Values. Is that the name of the show, or is it just called The Braxtons now? I haven't watched that show in years. So the most that I know is that the sisters is, fighting and not getting along with Tamar. But isn't that what it always is? I mean, that is entirely what that show is everybody not getting along with fucking Tamar. Okay. But also, I guess, in the show, Towanda must have had a boyfriend all this time. I knew that she had broken up from her first husband, but she must have had this boyfriend. They say her and this man been together for 9 years. His name is Sean Hall. Sean Hall. Okay. And apparently they got engaged last year. And this past Saturday, on March 22nd, they went on and tied the knot. He made her an honest woman. Okay. They said that Tony and Trina were bridesmaids. Tamar was not in attendance. Okay, I don't know if she was invited or not, but like I said, them girls is always fighting. There's always Tamar against the girls. And so, you know, par for the course. Par for the course. But good for Towanda. I don't hear much about Towanda. Towanda is the sister that you don't hear much about. You always hear, of course, about Tony and Tamar. Trina every now and then, because Trina does, well, you know, she used to be on a TV show outside of her sisters. Remember, she was doing that show with Rashawn Ali and all the rest of them, Quad and them. Was that the show with Quad? Yeah, Trina was on that show. Was that the show with Quad? I'm tripping now because I think I might be getting the show mixed up. It was Rashawn Ali, Trina, Quad, and somebody else, right? Or am I getting two shows mixed up? You guys will have to let me know. But anyway, y'all remember the show that Trina was on. Okay. Yeah, like I said, Towanda keeps a pretty low profile. She seems to be the coolest of all of the sisters. We used to kind of say that about Towanda, Trina, Tony, Tamar, Tracy. We used to kind of say that about Tracy when we first met her, like she was the regular cool sister, you know, not put on the Hollywood airs and all of that. And Towanda is also, you know, Towanda seems to be the cooler of the group. Tamar says that the reason why Tony was blocked on her birthday and Tony had to leave that little smart message on her Instagram is because when her sisters get on her nerves, you know, she blocks them, and when everything is good, she unblocks them. Right now, they on her nerves, so they blocked. Okay, maybe they're not even talking, because apparently they're fighting on the show right now with Tamar, so that's why she was not there. Okay. I think the other sisters probably just laugh at Tamar and be like, child, that's Tamar. She on her shit right now. Just let her do her. Okay. But yeah, congratulations to Towanda. People, I've been reading the comments and people say that he's a cool guy. I don't know. So you guys will have to let me know. But congratulations to the happy couple. All right, you guys. So today I listened to the interview. It was a small interview. I was thinking that Angela Yee had done this whole long interview with Don Robinson from En Vogue. But it was literally at the end of her show. I mean, I was fast forward. I was like, did I miss it? Because nobody feel like listening to all that shit. I still don't know how y'all listen to me. I don't know how y'all do it, child. I don't know. But, I don't feel like sitting and listening to no whole hour show if it ain't nobody that I was interested in. So, but right at the end, they kept on saying, Don is coming up, Don is coming up. So I know they knew that everybody was trying to listen to hear what they were going to say. So anyway, Don, you know, basically Angela Yee was just trying to find out from her, like, did she want to expound on this car situation that, you know, are you homeless? Like, do you destitute? Like, what is it? And so Dawn, the thing with Dawn is she's confusing to me because I still don't know exactly what to call it. You know, she's saying that because I'm, you know, familiar with van life and car life and all of that. When she says that she's made a choice to live in her car, I'm still trying to figure out, does she live in a souped up van that's been made to live in? Because they have some beautiful vans and RVs and buses and even some cars that people have transformed and made it so that they can stay. I even saw a video of this Asian girl that was in a fucking, not the Fiat. My brother has this damn car you would think I would think of. I want to say Miata. I want to think of all of the small cars. Fiats, Miatas, not none of those. You know, the little cars. What is it? The little British car? Child, I can't think, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I saw a video of a girl who was living in the back seat of hers, and she had the shit fixed up. I mean, she didn't cook the whole fucking full meal in there, had it all done up, child, and it was that little teeny tiny car. So people do live in their cars. So I was trying to figure out, is she saying that she's doing this as a choice? Well, it is definitely a choice. I'm just trying to figure out, is she just camped out in the backseat of her car like this right now, just put a pillow down at night and go to sleep, or is it all gussied up? Okay, that's my first question. And so in the video, so in the interview, you know, she's still not really clear on that. Yes, she's in the car. It is definitely by choice. But I don't know what the arrangements are. Okay. Apparently Jermaine Dupri had made a comment about her having an assistant. I actually thought the same thing when she was talking, and she said, you know, I had my assistant call or something, and I was just like, how you got an assistant? You ain't even got nowhere to live. You know, that was just like a common question. I mean, I think that question is something that a lot of people would have, not just Jermaine Dupri. She was offended by the question because she felt like he doesn't know me, he don't know my story and all this, but it was just sort of like, well, your story is that you're homeless. That's what you're telling us. But you have an assistant, you know, so it's like weird. The only time that I feel like Don really is talking clearly and succinctly is when she gets to talking about the business of that group, okay? Because that is a story that we have heard over and over and over again, how these labels, these music labels will fuck over, especially when you have a group, because now you got 4 personalities. And it is inevitable. 4 personalities, 4 people are not going to always agree on everything for the rest of their life. That's why I don't know why people get in groups. Like, that's why I don't do videos with groups. Like, I don't have a partner. Because I only want to do what I want to do when I do it. Okay, and I don't want to have to be relying on somebody else. I don't want to be pulled into somebody else's drama, the shit that they got going on. I don't want to be having to deal with calling other people and, you know, setting up schedules. And I just want to do what I know that I need to do at the time and be done with it. Okay. And so I always wonder how groups, girl or boy groups, I just be like, that is never going to last. You don't know any groups that have stayed together their original time the whole entire time. Maybe the Pips, and because they was brothers. But even brothers and shit, you know, but so it's like you never really hear, because it's almost impossible. And that's what these labels do. They get in there and then they divide. They be in different people's ears, and they be telling one person of the group this and another person of the group that, and they be having them arguing and shit, and inevitably the money get fucked up some kind of way. All that be going on, and all you know, at the end of the day, everybody's still broke. So child, it's getting hot in here. Getting my fan. Oh, did I bring my fan? I don't think I brought it today, and I think I left it up at my desk. But you know, so when she is talking about the business and what happened with the group and everything, I mean, she's clear as a operatic soprano, you know, who hits every note. I mean, she definitely knows what she's talking about when she's talking about that kind of thing. Okay, but when it comes to her life and all of these things and the boyfriend and living with the boy, like, that's where it gets all kind of like, I don't know what to tell you or what to believe about, you know, any of the things that Donna's saying. But yeah, you guys, I thought it was gonna be a whole, y'all was like, talk about the interview with Angela Yee. I thought we was really about to be talking about something, child. What y'all think? Don't you feel like there's something like, I gotta turn the air on, child, it's hot, but it's something odd there, right? I mean, wouldn't that be a normal question for you? Like, how you got an assistant but you ain't got nowhere to live? Like, that's you know. But she keep on saying it's a choice. So yeah, maybe somebody can just clarify for me. Let me know what the good sis talking about. I just want to make sure she's safe and secure wherever she is. And we sure would like to hear some music from Dawn Robinson, because I know that the girl can still sing. I know she can. We can just get everything else straight, and then maybe we can get her back out there on the scene. All right. All right, you guys, that is that. Child, I done got hot. I got to turn this ear on, but we do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.